say the final thanks and goodbye and everything.
I've got this excellent set of notes here. This is evening ends with Tony giving thanks and inviting everybody to go downstairs. And I think I should invite everybody to go outside, actually. It might be more appropriate after the discussion we just had. I really didn't get an idea of what I would say after this discussion, and I'm glad I didn't, because I knew after such an evening I really would be quite affected, and whatever I might have thought would be quite changed and impacted by the kind of conversation we've had. I just want to thank Christiane especially, because every time that I've heard her, and I've heard her more than just the twice in London, she refers to the Bosnian generation. And I do feel there is a link between Iraq and Bosnia, because maybe picking up from the comments of my colleague on the extreme left, it is not just about one side or the other side, but as my good colleague Zorn used to teach us, it's about the fourth side. And I think there is really a relationship between what some journalists tried to do in Bosnia and what Sahar and her husband underlined was trying to do there, which is to reflect how people are impacted by war and conflict. And if you fall into the trap of one side versus the other, then you really you can twist yourself 6 times over about objectivity, neutrality, and all the rest. But that's not really what it's about. And in Bosnia, many of us learned that civilians did not have a confirmed identity or a confirmed voting pattern, and what they were doing was suffering, and it was up to the journalists to reflect that. And if anything has been driven home tonight, I think, and really my job is to give thanks to people. I'll do it quickly. But I really think we have to have a profound thanks to Iraqi journalists who are for the first time reporting. I think we can say in Iraq it is the first time it is a war being reported by the people from the war zone itself. They may not be getting the bylines, but they are certainly getting the obituaries. And I think that without the Iraqi journalists, as we had a colleague here, and of course Sahar, but not only Sahar, I think that what we know about Iraq is little, but what we know at all is from Iraqi journalists. So I think the first thanks really is quite movingly to Iraqi journalists. It's extremely humbling for me, because really what this event is about, and I think it's good to have a squabble between, to have Ray and Christiane squabbling is really fun, by the way, and we can pick it up later, I hope. But I think that
I'll deck him.
Yeah. Let's see that.
In an objective way.
Neutrally, please. I think that really my first sense of humility is about the importance of the reporter. I don't know about the proprietors. There's a few proprietors in the room. But we've learned about the importance of the reporter most of all. And I think that there's nothing more than that. And I especially congratulate Mario on the poise that he showed, his not only the story he wrote, but the remarks that he gave. And I think that it was just remarkable. So there's somebody who can sit at the front line and speak is really something special. And I think Linda also, who accepted the award on behalf of Sahar, also showed the same kind of spirit. So there are people at the front lines who endure a lot and bring it back in witness. I think there's nothing more important than that. There is a long list of other people for me to thank. The judges who I've listed in a piece of paper you can read. The pre-judges, David and Nick, very important. I think we really sort of, Reuters floats around the room, but isn't really especially thanked, and I think Reuters ought to be thanked. There's a lot of ex-Reuters people here. I don't know what that means. I've never been there. But I think there is a Reuters thing that should be recognized as well. I find it particularly a humble moment to be in such a crowd and an audience. Ray, you know, we were very young when you were having your heroism in Central America. Christiane and all the rest. David, my colleague at IWPR, and many other excellent and really wonderful journalists here. And I think it's a real testimony to this event and to the fact that you've all gathered here. I have a lot of people at IWPR to thank, and I'm going to do first names only. Alan Davis, well, no, okay, that was good. Then I'm going to do we all. Alan Davis, Karen Forsyth, Gladys Dusha, Jane Kirkpatrick, Carolyn Tosh, Jerry Byrne. A lot of you did really a lot of work to pull this together. I always thank the Frontline, especially because they've created a community here, which is so important for us, and we take it for granted. Before we had it, we didn't know that we missed it, but now we've got it. It's something very special. My first job in journalism was as what we in America call a copy editor. Here you call it a sub. And every word that was written, that was read by Sahar, I did think of my colleagues John McLeod and Yigal Shazan and many other copy editors who are completely forgotten. And wherever there is somebody in the field, there is somebody back on the desk trying to make sure that it's spelled right and makes sense. And I think they are often forgotten, and they add something to the polish and beauty of the words. And that's terribly important. Most importantly, and really lastly, I promise, Stephen Jukes is the vice president of the fund. For your sins, you've become a board member of IWPR, so that's a big mistake. But your counsel and your bringing us as IWPR into this award and this whole process has been really something very special to us. Chris John, you know, when we try to organize these events, it's just as long as you come, we know the event will happen, and you MC it so well, and you bring such a style and such a memory of Kurt also. That's very important. So I have somewhere here, I don't know, I think maybe this one. You.
Oh, nice. Thank you. Do you know, my house is empty because I'm moving to the United States, so this will be fantastic. Thank you.
She's got a CBA and she's moving to America, so there's something going on there. I don't know. Whatever. But in this day and age, take them all. Whatever.
Thank you very much.
But we did say we'll miss you when you go back, and that's true. Just having you around has been special, and we're really so grateful for what you've done. Lastly, I didn't think that this year's awards would reach the crescendo of last year's, and to me they did, and that's a tribute to Sahar, to Linda, to Mario and others. But I think some of you will remember Lisa and Stephen, and I think we also remember last year's was also a positive award, and we really do not intend to make that a habit. But it was extraordinary to see such poise, and just not to quote myself, but because I'm repeating, I felt in many ways these awards are about love. And it's really extraordinary what journalists do and what they would imagine to do in respect of the profession when they have families and lives. And every single one of the 5 journalists that we've been involved with who's died has been a family, been the head of a family and been a breadwinner. So I really, as a proprietor myself in a very small way, have no answer to that. But if anybody has basically turned that round and sort of underlined so much commitment and support, it's Sabina Chelsich, who continues to keep these awards going. And I've always been so overwhelmed by her continuing support. So there's another set of flowers. Classic thing for executive director is to say, you liked what we do, we can't do without more resources, so leave your money at the door. But you're all journalists, so you don't have any money. So we're going to skip all that, and we will indeed invite you to go downstairs and drink whatever Vaughn will let us have, and enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you.